Hey guys, so this is an interesting video that I watched just like half an hour back, so I thought I'd go ahead and give my thoughts and what I think about India being a racist country. Let's watch and then we'll discuss as and when we watch.
Some
Yeah.
really good research.
Yeah.
And Dante has been doing some research, boys, some
Yeah.
really good research.
Yeah.
And Vishnu came for a particular purpose. And we had a big discussion some weeks ago. They had a big discussion some weeks.
So I've not seen this podcast a lot. I've seen this guy in a couple of videos. I'm not even sure if it's the same podcast or some other podcast, but I've seen him in a. I think I've seen him in a different podcast. I'm not sure. I hope he's Godfrey. His name is Godfrey.
Weeks ago.
I just wanted to let you know that I'm not familiar with this podcast or who's sitting like none of these people I'm not very familiar with.
About India and the dynamics of India, the race relations
and Gandhi.
and Gandhi's punk ass, and and so Vishnu was like pushing back on how we felt about certain things, about Gandhi, about India, about racism. And I'm gonna tell you, he had a list. He had a list that he read me a list. Dante read me a list of the most racist country in the fucking world. And it was fucking India.
Okay.
India is the number one most racist.
One of the
country in the world.
darkest countries.
And here is the thing, bro.
Now I don't know other countries, like I've not traveled to that many countries. But I don't know if India is the most racist country, but I'm like I'm sure it's one of the most racist countries in the world because I've grown up in India for most of my life, almost 30 to 35 years of my life. And I know most of them are really, really racist, especially when it comes to, Africans or black people.
India,
The
when you
most
say a
racist
country, when-
out of
Against who?
Europe.
Okay.
Against who?
Yeah, that's the thing. India, when you
top
say a
10.
country,
Number one.
What are the
Okay.
top 10 countries? Please, can we read the top
India
10
is
countries?
also the most hated country in the world.
No, hold on. Well, you're racist. Now,
Well,
listen.
but that's because
I hate
that's
your
the
country.
agenda you want.
Yeah, you're racist. Of course you're hated.
Bro, when you say India, it's like
Is that the reason why people hate Indians so much? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. It's possible.
saying
Wait.
an entire continent of Africa and saying this continent is.
It ain't gonna be
racist.
Africa.
That is the biggest
We just don't hate
generalization.
like that. We don't
and
do
when
that.
you say something.
Actually, it depends, I think, right? I'll tell you an interesting thing. So, when I was in India, I used to work for an IT. I'm an IT professional, so we get this perks to travel to the US because most of our clients are in the United States, right? So I got my first opportunity, I think in 2015, and so I went to this small town called Champaign Urbana. It's around like 2.5 hours from Chicago. So over there, there are a lot of rich Indian kids who have like the parents are all really rich and then they educate them and it's really rich in educational institutions and whatnot. So because of that, at least in that town, Indians like the perspective about Indians wasn't that bad. But then I've heard that like in other parts of the US where you can find almost exclusively Indians doing driving cabs and whatnot. In that suburbs, they have made a reputation for themselves as, you know, I think that stereotype also it differs from region to region. But on the whole, I know that like Indians are not like that much. That I can feel that actually.
Thing like that. When
No,
someone
listen,
said that,
listen.
that itself shows the
Listen,
bias in their argument.
Where did you
does
wait?
what?
It shows
Wait,
the bias in
Dante,
their
where did
argument.
you get the list from? Can we see the fucking list? Read the list.
He can
Read it!
Okay. No,
not for
that's not.
2020. The next one. Wait,
Yeah, I got this one. This is a combination of two studies. One was asked if participants would be comfortable living with neighbors of a different race. And the second study it's combined with is a study that says if someone has ever witnessed or personally experienced racism.
Okay.
And then it says those combined, number one is India, and then Lebanon.
Okay.
Oh wow, Lebanon is number 2, huh? Bahrain is number 3, Libya is number 4, Egypt is number 5. Wow. Philippines. Okay. Kuwait, Palestine, South Africa and South Korea. I know South Korea, and even South Korea I think is for an advanced country like South Korea. I kind of know that even they even have boards that Indians and Pakistanis not allowed or in some of the clubs. I remember watching a video some time back.
Bahrain.
Yeah.
So they are not just racist against the black people. I think they are racist against Indians too.
Egypt,
Yeah.
Kuwait, Philippines, Palestine, South Africa, South Korea.
And these
So
are,
mainly
these are the
Arabs
people.
and Indians.
But look at this way. But
Yeah.
I also saying
Arabs and
something.
Indians are the worst.
But look at it this way, bro. This is what I was telling you about before. India got its independence in 1947. Until then, since 11th century, bro, can you put that other one you put in? 11th century, we have university. That's a Nalanda University. How many million? Like it was just.
So actually, I just watched the whole video like just 15 minutes back. At that point, I didn't understand why this guy was bringing up this Nalanda thing. But, you know, I think he probably is a Hindu nationalist. He's what we would call in, like, I'm a South Indian. I'm not sure if he is one. I don't know. So from where I come from, there's this word that they use to refer to Hindu nationalists is called Sanghis. I think he's a Sanghi probably, because around 1100, I think is when the Mughals, the Muslim invaders, they came to India. So what he's trying to make a point is that before the Mughals came in, we were really civilized and we were like one of the most sophisticated cultures in the world. I think that's what he's probably implying, because he keeps bringing back this Nalanda thing. It was a bit odd when I first watched this video, but later I realized, okay, so that's what this guy. Even these people, they keep wondering like, why are you going back to this, 1100 thing?
Destroyed in 1197. Millions of articles of our culture were destroyed, and since then we've been living in dark ages. And
I don't think that you can't call the dark ages like that's his opinion. That's what I'm saying. This is what is I believe taught in the Hindu nationalist circle probably. Was before that it was all beautiful, and then as soon as the Mughals came in and then they ruined, that's probably the kind of idea that they all have.
1947 is when, so the people that you talk about, the people that you saw in Dunkin' Donuts were rich. during British time. They were the traitors. As soon as British left, they were able to take their money, move here, buy motels and hotels, and set up shop here.
Wait,
and you're looking at
because
them,
of
and
the 1964 Civil Rights Act that African Americans
and you're
gave
looking
you.
at them and blaming an entire nation of a diverse people that speak 22 different
that
languages.
hate their skin
But I
color.
Can you-
What did he?
that's actually a very good point.
People that speak 22 different
that
languages.
that
are they-
hate their
what are
skin
they-
color.
Can you
What
put-
are the
can you put that back?
incidents?
Can you put that back, bro?
That
What
hate
are
their
they-
skin
Okay,
color.
So look at that, bro. That
I no, he rightly says that Indians hate the skin color. That is 100% true. Because in the south we are darker people, and in the north there's more lighter skinned people. And I'll explain to you why. Like why is there this difference? Because there are two different distinct ethnic groups, as per recent archaeological excavations and whatnot. But you can see this mindset in probably every Indian, that dark is ugly and being fair is beautiful. That's the idea that we all grow up with as a country. So you if you are a fair skin, you get opportunities in the entertainment industry, media and whatnot, very easy, relatively easily, not relatively, like much more easily than if you're dark. And this happens even within the southern part of India, where most of us are dark. And I don't know what to do about it. I'm just telling you that's the mentality. I used to like hate myself, like growing up, when I looked at the mirror, like, why am I not fair? But that was when I was really young, right? But then after a certain point, I realized, why should I like just I maybe I started to accept myself as who uh, um, like I just uh, uh, I accepted myself. This is what I am, and this is how it's going to be. So, but there are many people who still live in that mentality. Like they wish they were fairer. Like even when as you are a kid, right? If a baby is born dark, and I suppose the baby is born really fair, you get that kind of feeling that, oh, he's got a fair looking child, and this, the kind of conversations that they have. And it's like, so every day this mentality, you are it's what you grow up with, right? So it obviously going to affect the way your perspective, the way you look at outside world, and you're going to assume that like whatever is dark is ugly, irrespective of what shape, size, or they come from. Like, and I think this is the case with most of the countries in the world. um, Whichever country you take, right, there's always some kind of beauty associated with being really light skin and fair. And I'm talking about really old civilizations as well, right? Even in let's say Iran, Persia. I don't know where this why that is, or like where what could be the root cause of this. But I have a feeling throughout the world, fairness have always been celebrated for some reason. I honestly don't know why. And I'm not sure if this is going to, like, Americans, they are a more advanced society, right? So they have come to terms with it, and then they have reached a point that they have realized that, okay, this is just a superficial thing. And most developed countries, they still deal with this racism issue, but at least they've figured out that it's like it's something to do with the DNA. It's just like there's nothing related to the intellectual ability or whatnot. But I'm talking about like older civilizations, ancient civilizations. I think they've always had this kind of bias, I believe.
That was a university built in 1197.